Why are you always tired? Why is your energy level the same energy that once allowed you to enjoy everything, do countless activities, have brighter sex, stronger orgasms, and even the desire to hit the gym afterwards, slowly fading away? Why have your hobbies and interests started to lose their color? Many of you think this is normal, but it is not normal. It is not simply age, it is not laziness. It can be the sign of something deeper, sometimes even a serious condition. Today, I will explain why this may be happening in your body, what the main reasons are, and how to deal with them. I will also tell you about a concept that will allow you to use your body at 100% of its potential, instead of living at only 20 or 30% of your minimum functionality. Let's start with a typical picture. An ordinary patient visits a hospital and says, "Doctor, I have a problem. I feel that something is wrong." What usually happens? The doctor replies, "You just need more rest, sleep better. Or, at best, let's run some tests." Then, after looking at the results, the doctor says, "Everything is fine. You're healthy. Goodbye." And you leave with the same problem because the issue was never solved. To really understand, you need to know the concept of the health pyramid. Imagine a triangle with 3 sides. Most doctors, whether endocrinologists, andrologists, or urologists, usually look at only one side. The first side is biochemistry, all your lab tests, hormones, thyroid function, adrenal hormones, and so on. The second side is the brain, emotions, mood, motivation, depression. The third side is the body, your weight, fat percentage, physical stress, sleep quality, and the conditions you live and work in. The biggest mistake in medicine is to treat health problems from only one side. Let me give you examples. A man comes in and says, "Doctor, I have pelvic congestion. My hemorrhoids are getting worse. My legs are swelling." The doctor says, "Here's a pill. Take it whenever it gets worse." Another man comes and says, "Doctor, I have erection problems." The doctor hands him a pill and says, "This will fix it." In both cases, the doctor only touches the biochemistry. He prescribes a medicine without looking at the bigger picture. Yes, testosterone and hormone levels depend on your body. If you are overweight, sedentary, or unhealthy, this will affect your hormones. But the reverse is also true. If your hormones are low, it will change how you look and how much energy you have. Now think about the brain. If a person is depressed, apathetic, and unmotivated, will he go to the gym and work out with energy? Of course not. The head affects the body, and the body affects the head. If a man is overweight or extremely thin, this will influence his mood and can lead to depression or low self-esteem. Relationships also play a role. If your girlfriend breaks up with you, your wife leaves, or cheats, your sex hormone levels will drop. Stress hormones will rise, sex hormones will fall. If your boss constantly nags at work, if angry customers drain your energy, the same thing happens. Stress rises, testosterone falls. On the other side, when a man has low testosterone and reduced libido, this can directly lead to depression. I see countless patients who are prescribed antidepressants without anyone checking their testosterone levels, when in fact the problem was hormonal all along. This is why the health pyramid works in all 3 directions. Depression can change how you look, how you feel, and what your hormone balance is. Your body is a single system. If one element breaks, the entire structure suffers. What seems like chaos inside is really your body's way of signaling for help. What you need is a proper diagnosis and a personalized treatment plan, not ignoring the signs or covering them up with quick fixes. Unfortunately, most people try to solve problems from just one side. Doctors prescribe supplements or medications without considering lifestyle or psychological health. Psychologists try to fix childhood traumas without running hormone tests. Fitness trainers say, "Just eat less, do more cardio, and train harder," ignoring the mental and biochemical factors. Take, for example, a young man of 25. Many doctors still believe that testosterone cannot be low at that age. But I often see low testosterone in 25-year-olds who don't sleep enough, overtrain, or live under chronic stress. These men are sent to psychologists, but the real root problem is hormonal. Or let's take weight loss. A man puts huge effort into the gym, trains daily, follows strict cardio, and in 3 or 4 weeks loses 2 kilograms. Then, within a week, he regains it. Why? Because the real cause, stress, high cortisol, emotional eating, unaddressed biochemistry, was never fixed. The pyramid always works in 3 directions, even if the original trigger was only one. This is the most important concept you must accept. Every process in your body is interconnected. Now let's look at fatigue. Why are you always tired? Fatigue can come from any side of the pyramid. In my practice, over the years I have consulted several thousand patients, and the same patterns repeat. Fatigue is not just laziness. Fatigue has many masks: less strength in the gym, disturbed sleep, more aggression or sentimentality, worse stress tolerance, snapping at others, weaker concentration and memory, less creativity, less joy. Even singers and artists face this. Some try to cope with drugs, but the real problem is simple: they are exhausted. The first step is to recognize fatigue and admit it exists. True fatigue is not laziness. It is the feeling that your vital energy is empty. Think of yourself at 15, 16, 17 years old. That was your peak vitality. It usually lasts until about 23 to 25. Then, slowly, it begins to fade. Why? Doctors will say it's thyroid disease, hypothyroidism, or low sex hormones. Yes, that can be part of it. But the deeper truth is this: deficiencies usually form first, and dysfunction comes later. The body adapts and resists stress for a long time, but eventually it breaks. Remember the movie Falling Down with Michael Douglas, where the character finally snaps in a traffic jam. His breakdown didn't happen in one day. It accumulated over years until he exploded. People don't just suddenly fall into depression, alcoholism, or destructive behavior. It builds up. And what builds it up most of all? Deficiencies. And not just vitamins. The number one deficiency in the modern world is sleep. Poor quality of sleep. Insufficient quantity of sleep. This is the biggest problem. You try to compensate with sleep masks, earplugs, blackout curtains, but if you only sleep a few hours, quality won't save you. The reverse is also true. 9 hours of low-quality sleep next to a noisy runway won't refresh you either. You need both quality and quantity. Even if it isn't perfect, at least reach 80% of what it should be. The second major deficiency is lack of physical activity and poor psycho-emotional state. The condition of your body, the state of your endocrine system, depends greatly on the right balance of physical activity. But here we face two extremes. Some people go to the gym excessively, almost addicted to training. For example, many runners cannot go a day without running. If they stop, they feel unwell. They even experience runner's euphoria after long runs. I have had patients who ran 3 times a day simply to chase this euphoria. So there are two sides. On one hand, too much training exhausts you. On the other hand, too little training fails to stimulate you. That is why balance is key. Physical activity doesn't always mean heavy gym sessions. Could be swimming, wrestling, tennis, or other activities. The main thing is consistency and moderation. The next deficiency to mention is the lack of beneficial microbes. I am not currently encouraging anyone to take pills or powders for microflora. Yes, such supplements exist, and yes, I even release some myself, but the foundation of a healthy microbiome is proper nutrition. No supplement will fix things if you eat fast food every day or overload your body with fried junk. What really matters is consuming the right amount of fiber and respecting your gut health. I once recorded an excellent episode with Dmitry Alexeev about the intestines. Watch it, you won't regret it. The gut is not just a tube. It plays a huge role in immunity, sex hormones, and stress regulation. It even produces melatonin, the same hormone secreted by the pineal gland, though in the gut its role is more local. A deficiency here also weakens you. And now another destructive factor: chronic stress. Unlike acute stress, which comes suddenly and forces short-term mobilization, chronic stress slowly eats you alive. I like to explain it with an engine metaphor. Imagine a car revving at 6,000 RPMs. Short bursts are fine, but if the engine stays there for hours, it overheats. This is what I call thundercloud syndrome. I see it constantly in patients, not only businessmen but also taxi drivers or anyone with heavy life problems. A mortgage, debts, relationship issues, infidelity, constant pressure. It hangs over them like a cloud. Even when they go on vacation, the cloud follows. Their mind is never at rest. Their background apps are always running, draining energy. That's why stress must be not only relieved but balanced. The negativity must be countered with positivity. Sports, hobbies, friendships, concerts, family, meaningful activities. Imagine stress as a glass of bitter liquid. You cannot simply throw it away, you need to add sugar. And then comes the greatest drug of our century. Not alcohol, not heroin, but social media. Messengers, endless feeds, short clips, reels, all of this steals real human interaction. Yet live communication is irreplaceable. Humans need it. Gadgets are useful, but overuse burns out the nervous system, especially dopamine pathways. Quick rewards, fast information, instant entertainment. All of it rewires your brain and drains you. On top of this, the modern diet adds another layer of deficiencies. The most common are the B vitamins, especially vitamin B9 and vitamin B12, along with other B group vitamins. I often see severe deficiencies in iodine and magnesium. These go hand in hand with chronic stress. The more stress, the higher your need for energy, the greater the burden on the thyroid, and the faster you burn through magnesium and iodine reserves. And don't think iron deficiency is only a women's issue. I often diagnose it in men too. Vitamin D is another problem. People believe they can replace sunlight with a pill, but that's not true. Direct sunlight on the retina has a unique effect that no supplement can fully replicate. Have you noticed how a sunny vacation not only lifts your mood but also boosts your libido and energy? The sun itself is medicine. Without it, vitamin D from a jar is only half the story. The same goes for food safety. Many people think, this soda has just a little sugar. This dye is harmless. The calories aren't too high. But no one tells you about the cumulative effect. Every day you add up damage from fast food, from lack of sleep, from smoking, from vapes, from stress. Over time, it breaks you down. Even something as simple as waking up to an alarm clock instead of naturally disrupts your health. I often hear from patients who say, I no longer have morning erections. And it turns out this only happens on days they wake up to an alarm. This all brings us back to the health pyramid. Remember this concept for the rest of your life. Doctors often focus on only one side, forgetting the other two. But true healing requires all three: body, mind, and biochemistry. The great surgeon Amosov once said, illness is treated by the doctor, but health must be achieved by the patient himself. That is why I maintain my social media, to give you tools, motivation, and the understanding that you are the one who must build your health. I know, however, that 95% of people will not take action until the thunder strikes, until diabetes shows up, until chronic fatigue becomes unbearable, until the erection fails, until the extra 20 kilograms make walking home painful. Only 5% truly understand before it is too late. That's why I ask you, share your stories in the comments. What happened in your life that made you realize you couldn't go on this way? What was your wake-up call? What did you change after it? Even if your comment changes only one life, it is worth 30 seconds of your time.